The perfection program. That's what they call it. It gave me life, but it also caused death. I never asked for any of this. Running from superpowered murderers who want revenge? Revenge for something I did? Something I can't remember. But I won't run. I refuse. I don't want to be controlled anymore. This world needs more heroes than villains. That's more important than anything, isn't it? My existence has to mean something. It has to make a difference somehow. For Virgil. For Aaron. I need to be worth this life I've been given. I need to do what's right. Even if it kills me.
Woohoo! Even if it kills me. Welcome everyone to another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their lives and the projects, because people often give me time on their platforms and I wanted to do something back to the community. So this weekend was really awesome. I went on Bancroft's stream last Friday, for me Saturday morning, by the way, to officially close down the Perfect 10 campaign. So I hit the opt out of in-demand button, but apparently someone at Indiegogo has to manually shut it down. And it hasn't happened yet. So people were still backing during the weekend. And during the weekend, we went over $18,000. It blew me away. Absolutely fantastic. So everyone who backed and shared, thank you so much, guys. Absolutely fantastic. I love you all. Let's see who's in the chat today. We have David Feed. Welcome, David. First, maybe. Yeah, you are. You are first, man. Dr. Ino is here. Second, yes, welcome, Dr. Ino. And third is Mike Jimmy. Welcome, Mike Jimmy. We have Beyond Time is here. Welcome, Beyond Time. And then we have Eric De Guapo. Eric De Guapo. Welcome, welcome. I've never seen you here. Welcome, man. Okay, yeah, we have a celebration. Yes, celebration. Yeah, a little celebration. Okay, thanks for being here, guys. Today's guest is someone that I should have had on about 2 weeks earlier, but there was a little bit of miscommunication going on. And so last weekend, it was completely my fault. I completely forgot, but we made it happen. So he's here today to talk about his new project. So we're gonna bring him in, Mr. John from Beyond.
And here I am.
Welcome, John.
Oh man, thanks, Dave. We made it happen, brother.
Yeah. I'm so happy you're here, man.
No, I appreciate you having me on, my man.
So how was your weekend, man?
It was good. It was good. Did a lot of Beyond Time related things on Saturday, and this being Sunday for me, just kind of chilling. But yeah, it's been a good weekend, man. Here we go. Thanks, RJ.
Critical Blast. Welcome, Critical Blast.
Sir, RJ. So yeah, okay. Man, it's been good. It sounds like you've had an awesome weekend.
Yes, excellent, man.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much, man.
It's great too. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Are you shipping from the Netherlands?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but that's not a problem. We ship worldwide. Sometimes I see these campaigns and they tell you that they only ship to certain countries.
Yeah.
I don't really get that, but maybe because of certain import fees, But I don't know. Sometimes there are some books that I really want to have and only ship to the US. So I'm out of luck.
It's interesting. You kind of figure, well, price it in and let people choose if they want to play or not.
Yeah, of course.
I don't get that either. Why you would exclude folks that may be interested. Yeah,
So,
you like that, Eric, man? You like that? I just
is that new?
Yeah,
I've never seen you before,
the wifey just gave me the clean shaved look this morning. So
right.
yeah, man, I'm feeling brand new, Eric. I'm feeling brand new.
That looks good on you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, so John Hervey, that's your real name, right?
That's my real name.
And you call yourself John from Beyond because?
Beyond Time Comics. That's my comic company.
Right,
Beyond Time
yeah.
Inc. So
right.
I am John from Beyond, but everybody knows I'm John Hervey. I'm well self-doxed. So
and just streamlined.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Thibaut's here. Welcome, Thibaut.
It's humid out here, RJ, in Houston. So I figured, you know what? I'll let the hair go. I've been very blessed. The hair has kept growing back, so I'm praying that it'll do so again. But yeah.
Hey, Comics Mate is here. Good day, good day.
Hey, Comics Mate.
And this time at the beginning of the show. Welcome.
Oh yeah. Is that you? Is the Comics Mate usually coming in like at the table?
Yeah. When we're closing down.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, John, Beyond Time Comics, right? That's your. So how did you set that up? When did that start for you?
Man, I formed Beyond Time back in 2003. I think I originally formed Beyond Time as a legal entity back then. I've been writing for a long time, and Black Tiger. This isn't the first story arc for the Black Tiger series. The first. So going back probably a year prior to that. Oh no, it was that same year, around 2003. My now wife, my then fiance, I think we were just my girlfriend at the time. We were on vacation up near I guess we were kind of in the kind of middle, a little bit north of Malibu in California, and we were vacationing. And I had an idea for actually a story that initially I was going to pitch to one of the big two. So I kind of crafted the story, and then I kind of realized that, I was 5 also, Dr. Hino. And I realized this wasn't something that I wanted to give away. This was something that I wanted to try and publish for myself. And I had some friends at that point who I'd worked with throughout the industry who had made different properties and had different experiences. So a guy who I worked with, his name is Brett Lewis, and he actually is the one that created the comic book for, oh my goodness, I actually am really old because I can't remember the name of his book, but it was converted. It was converted into a movie, and it starred like Stifler, and it starred Chow Yun-Fat.
American Pie or
no? So Stifler from American Pie was in it.
All right,
but it was supposed to be a martial arts movie. It had Chow Yun-Fat in it, and it had Stifler in it as the protagonist instead of kind of the way that the book was. I mean, of course, I can't remember the name of the book right now off the top of my head, but it was actually an awesome comic book that he made. No one knew that it was the properties from a comic book, and then the movie was an absolute dud and just kind of ruined his property, and and just the process that he went through, kind of working with the studios and because at the time, and I guess for a lot of folks still, I mean, that was the holy grail. Can you get your property can you get optioned? Can you get your
Right.
property? So his property was optioned. They kind of went to work on the property, and man, at the end of the day, because he wasn't so amenable to kind of the things they were doing, but he really didn't have much power. He ended up even, losing the name credit that he was going to have, kind of at the end, of the, kind of when the credits were scrolling at the end. So it just gave me like a little bit of a funky taste in my mouth, and I was just like, you know what, I want to make this book. But I need to make the book for the purpose of making the book, and if anything else happens, it happens. But
Right.
not to be in a place where, because I'm originally from LA, so I mean the whole, the premise is, man, you make something, you option it, and even the company that I was working at before, they were making comics, and they were good comics, but making comics for the purpose of, and I'm not saying it's a bad purpose, but for the purpose of licensing, merchandising, and
Right.
getting some other movies made. And I'm not saying that's a bad purpose. What I'm saying is that, when you don't control the purse strings, you can find yourself in bed with folks that don't care a lick about your property, and
Yeah, most people care about money, so
they care about the money.
Make money,
and you kind of hope that it all aligns. You hope that, people like your property because they think it can make money, but they like it as is. But oftentimes people will see your property, so yeah, we can make money with this, but I'm going to make these fundamental changes. I'm going to make these changes to the fundamental premise of what you're doing. You're like, if you're going to make these bedrock type changes to this property, why don't you just pick a different property?
Right. Yeah. That
why
worked
would you do that?
very well for Hollywood these last few years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
but your initial plan was to make a comic book, right? Not a regular book or a movie, but you wanted to make the comic book itself.
Exactly. And I've written in all these different media. So I've written TV scripts and movie scripts and comic book scripts and prose. Written a couple of novels as well. But I knew that this was a medium that I wanted to present this property in. The big thing for me being a writer was, okay, well then I need somebody to come alongside me, an artist that buys into the concept, that buys into the property, and then is going to help me, basically bring this to life. Because that becomes basically your visual director and your designer. Because at the end of the day, I have all these ideas and I can give all kinds of references, but it's the artist at the end of the day that's going to be, portraying that, the look and the feel of the book. So not being the artist and being the writer, I realized just the importance of partnering, because I'd worked before in the industry, but I'd really worked just kind of as the cog that I was. So I would write, and then, You
mean you worked before in the comic book industry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done some freelance work, and I worked at a company called Motown Animation, which was just a small imprint that Motown, the music company, had created because some of the guys that it found at Milestone put a deal together with them. And this was kind of in the mid 90s. And so I had the opportunity to write for them, do some editing for them, do a whole bunch of gophering for a lot of gophering work for them. But it was cool. Got to work with Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis. Those were the guys that I worked under. So it was a really good experience. But you also I came out the other side realizing that, it's, especially at that time, I mean, turning that into a continual gig that is putting food on your table was not easy. And it's still not easy today. Because now there's so fewer titles than there were back then. And the titles back then made much better money than they make now. I mean, Motown closed its doors because they were probably only doing, 30, 40,000 units a book. Man, you do 30, 40,000 units a book now, you're going to be like in the, top quartile of books being sold.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so I
Times
mean,
have
the
times have
market,
changed, man.
yeah. Well, back then the barometer was, can you do spawn numbers? You know, can you do 1 million units?
Yeah,
You know, a book.
of
You
course.
know that. So when Motown saw that they couldn't do spawn units, they're like, oh, we're not really in it for this, because music hadn't been revolutionized yet. So they were still making big money, you know, kind of on the backs of their artists for music. So they're like, well, we're not going to make big money with these comics. So, you know, we're gonna keep it moving. Um,
Right. Let
but
me say hi to Darkside quickly.
Marinus, what's going, man?
Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Welcome, Darkside. Marinus, welcome, man. And Eric says that you did a run of Trouble Man.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric. So yeah, Trouble Man was the book that I wrote for Motown Animation, and they had their imprint was called Machine Works. So I wrote Trouble Man, and I edited a couple of other books. They had some other fun books. They had a book called Man Against Time. They had a book that I really enjoyed, but I was not the editor on. That was um, a man. I'm Sunday. I really turned my brain off today, guys.
It's
Wow.
okay. It's okay.
Wow. But yeah, they had some good properties and good creative teams. That's actually where I worked with John Paul Leon, who unfortunately passed away this year from cancer. But like, that dude was a phenom, and I met him because a lot of the guys I was working with, they were all from a New York studio. They were from Mike Davis's studio, so all these kids were from New York. And it was me and one other guy who got me in were like the Cali kids. Everybody else were like these kids from New York, and they were spectacular. You know, Chris Sotomayor was kind of the main colorist, and you know, he still does great work. Kind of despite what's going on at the once House of Ideas. But yeah, I mean, so it was an amazing time. That's kind of where we were being published through Image, so I got to meet a lot of different folks at that time. I was, I was cool with Marat Michaels, who worked for Extreme Studios. So I didn't know Fraga, who was also at the studio over there as well. But it was like a fun time because it just seemed like anything could happen. We were in Mid Wilshire. That studio was in Anaheim in California. I know that this may not mean much to folks, but then like in on the west side of LA was Top Cow, and was also Aspen was over there. So it was kind of a nice little club of folks, and we'd go hang out and
man, that sounds so cool. You have all this creative energy going on.
Yeah,
right.
That's what comics. That's why I like this whole revolution now and this whole thing that's going on with Comicscape, because comics are meant to be fun. And let me tell you, we had fun back then. I mean, and then you kind of see like a lot of poison starting to slip in, and you're just like, come on, we're making comic books. Who don't? I mean, this is like a childhood dream. Why would you turn it into something poisonous? Let's just have fun. Let's just make great books, and kind of leave it at that. But yeah. So yeah, I did work with Dennis Cowan. So Dennis Cowan, actually on the third issue of Trouble Man, he was the one that did majority of he did a good chunk of the layouts, because we were running late on the book. And Dennis Cowan is a genius. I mean, me and Chuck, who was the main artist and the creator of the book, I mean, we literally were just watching him work, we're just like, oh my gosh. And he just like, I mean, just watch him hammer out work, and and then kind of like he's kind of like moving on to the next thing, and we're just like, okay, we just watched something great. This dude is a beast.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, Dennis Cowan, that dude. I know he gets respect, but I feel he's underrated. Dude's amazing.
Right. So was it difficult for you to step away from all of that, because you wanted to do your own thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do my own thing, but I like, even stepping away, I didn't really have much choice, because I mean, I wasn't getting enough work to make it something that was sustainable. So I had to do other stuff outside anyway. But
Right.
then in terms of having these different experiences and seeing a couple of people that actually did get their properties optioned, most of them went into just pre-production hell. They get optioned and they just get sat on. You know, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of times these options have clauses in there where they can the entity or the company optioning them has the right to extend the option. And sometimes they'll just extend the option, and it's not that great of money. It's not as good of money as you think. The option money is not great, you know? So it's like the properties are kind of saddled down, or in the case of my friend Brett, you know, the movie gets made and it's awful.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably like the only crappy Chow Yun Fat movie out there.
Yeah, I don't really get why. I can understand it's very cool to see something you created on the big screen or at a television show, but they look. I still read books from 30 years ago. You know, they never get old, but no one watches television shows from 30 years ago, you know, unless they are reruns. But
the name of the movie and the comic by Brett Lewis is Bulletproof Monk.
Bulletproof Monk, right?
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said it, I think at the end of the day, you know, my desire as I create is to make things that are timeless. And by that, I mean, you have universal themes, you have things that people can relate to, whether it's here. I mean, it's set in the present, but that's not the overwhelming thing. You know, the thing is like, you've got to have those large themes that you don't have to just be in a particular demographic to understand. And those things run across the world. That's not hard to do if you're just being a human being.
Exactly.
If you're just being a human being, it's not hard to make stuff with universal themes, because like sometimes we get caught up in the minutia of stuff, but oftentimes it's not about the minutia of it. It's like, listen, I can relate to a story that's set somewhere totally else with people, you know, of completely different background, because there are universal things that are going on. I understand, you know, generation gap. I understand, you know, the difference, you know, when you have an expectation from an older generation and you're another generation. And now that I'm older, I also understand having a younger generation under me that's looking back at me kind of like, golly, you are so old fashioned. You know what I mean? Dad, that's not the way. Dad, you're ancient, dude. That's not how, you know, and you realize that like there's universal things that you can do in stories. Hey, what's up, Dave? And
Welcome,
those
Dave.
are the elements that you want to have in stories, because that's why you can go back and you can read books or you can read comics that are set in different time periods, you know, and you can be like, man, this resonates.
Yeah. Nowadays you have this corporate comics. They push for creative teams that resemble the characters that they write.
That's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, it's really strange, you know.
Is like, okay, so then what happens if I have a story and I've got these African American characters, but then a white character comes in? Now I can't write it. Do I need somebody else to come in and write that one character for me? It's, you know, it's absurd. You know, at the end of the day, it's about being a human being. Yeah, I get it. You know, I'm you're right. You know, I'm not Caucasian. You caught me. It's true. But you know what? It's like I'm a human being, and I understand what people go through, and I do my homework, and I've got friends. So I mean, it's like, and that's the job also of having an editor. Editors keep you honest. Good editors keep you honest without turning your stuff into fan fiction. The problem right now is a lot of these editors, it's not about editing. It's about completely remastering and changing and saying like, hey, yeah, you've got a great idea, but you know what? You know, the big theme right now is, you know, this whole thing with pronouns and this and that and the other. So you know what? I'm going to take this core idea you have, and I'm going to twist it like a pretzel.
Yes.
You know, and then you just look back and you're just like, what have we done? What the heck is this? You know, what is this? And who are you appealing to? And why did you even want this property in the first place other than to adulterate it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's what we're experiencing now. And for a lot of us, it feels personal. You know, I mean, for me, what I've done is I've kind of mourned all of the stuff that I grew up with. I've mourned it, and I've moved on it.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's my He-Man or my Spider-Man or my Superman I've mourned all that stuff, and I'm like, that's not my stuff anymore. The stuff that I've got in my long boxes, that's my stuff.
Right.
But you know, the stuff that's being made today isn't my stuff, and I have peace with it that way.
Yeah, at some point, people just need to move on. You can complain about this for years, but nothing will ever change. So you just need to move on and create your own stuff and support indie creators.
That's why I love it. That's why you have so many backers right now, man, including me, because our dollars that used to go to one thing are now shifting to another. This is not a bad thing. Yeah. People are upset about it, but it's like this whole indie revolution doesn't work if these guys don't drop the ball. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise,
exactly.
we're still going to the shop and we're still buying the other stuff.
Right. Some people still want these companies like Marvel, DC to survive, but I'm like, no, they had their time. Mm-hmm. Let them die. It's our time now.
Yeah. So it's okay. It's okay. Let them go. It's okay. You don't feel like you have to keep supporting them just for the sake of supporting them. It's okay. You know, there's a lot of great stuff like your stuff, you know, and so many good books out there. And I think we're all in a place where, thanks. Yeah. Magna's another one of the books that
Magna. I know that one.
And now we're in a place where all of us as a group of independents and as an industry, we're kind of figuring it out now because there's certain things that we still need to crack. I mean, you're in the Netherlands. You know, we need to be able to crack this whole international shipping nut. We need to be able to band together and figure out a way. I know RJ is doing that from like, I think, is it just the UK RJ or just, but it's good. It's like going, you know, so basically, you know, being able to get books, I think kind of bridging. And I think that's US to the UK, which is huge. But it's like, there's so many other big pockets where we need to be able to get books cheaply. And man, we need to be able to get some of these books coming in cheaper as well. So I feel like the good thing about that is just like RJ's built a business model, more people are going to build business models. And, you know, I'm a big fan of businesses owning these things because if a business owner like RJ owns that process, then I know that that's what he's going to be about. He's going to focus on that. He's going to specialize in that. Then my business, I can work with his business. Mm-hmm. I don't need to own that. I don't need to own that process.
No.
You know, the problem with big corporations, they want to own everything. It's not good enough just to own the property. They want to own the distribution. They want to own every piece of it. And then it becomes just like, when that happens, just kind of like with Diamond, the pricing gets absurd. When back in the day in 2000 something, when we distributed through Diamond, back then we were getting like 34 cents on the dollar for a book. We're doing all the production. We're doing all the printing. We're shipping the books to Diamond. They're not doing anything for marketing because that doesn't include what I had to pay to get into their preview book and to buy an ad. And I'm like, charging 34 cents on the dollar when you're not doing anything else other than taking the books into the shops, that is a model that does not work. And it's finally taken a while, but it's like now we have, you know, kind of the model that we have now. And you can, you know, even people are talking about, oh, you know, these Indiegogo fees. I'm like, dude, that's nothing. That is nothing compared to the fees that it used to be if you were trying to go through Diamond. You still keep the lion's share of the funds, even after you pay that. Then you got to make sure you're pricing things well so you can take care of your shipping. take care of your production, take care of your printing. But at least you're in a place where you can make it work.
Right.
Know?
Let me see. We have some Bristolian Dave says had on our book arrive from America. Weight 0.8 kilograms, cost $26.
We've got to deal with that. And as an industry, there's so many people now that are making things. I mean, we have to deal with that. There's people, like I said, like RJ, that we got to have solutions. I feel like going into 2022, we should have answers for some of these things. We need to, that's what I love about this. I mean, it's like there's so many elements. Yeah, there's people that are making books. I mean, when you look at the ecosystem, people that are making books, there are people that have shows, and people cross over. They have like some crossovers, but people that have shows, that's part of the ecosystem. These other resources are now a part of the ecosystem. Being able to ship, because we already saw how Mail-In has kind of put together, that piece. I think that there's going to be a lot more efficiencies that people are going to continue to build into this ecosystem. And we're going to have people doing all kinds of things that's going to really make it cheaper and make it a win-win for everybody to get books worldwide.
Yeah. You can even consider printing in other countries. Because, for instance, most of my backers are from the US.
Right.
So I've been looking at what happens when I print over there. So these are things we need to tackle those. We had one question for you.
Yeah.
Let me see. From Dr. Ino. He asked, how do you do a proper campaign for your work? Asking for future reference.
Well, one thing, and because even the campaigns, they're morphing. So keep your eyes on campaigns. Keep your eyes on campaigns that you like. Like when I first did a campaign, like for instance, I had all these bundles and tiers that people would pick, and those work. They still work. But I'll tell you what I'm finding now. People like the a la carte. So, if you have different things, people like to pick and choose and like, hey, you know what? I don't want to necessarily, if I want to get this and that, but I don't want those. I don't want to be forced to get those when I don't want that. So like you'll see a lot of campaigns now, they look a little bit more streamlined because when you actually click on a product, then there's kind of the next page is you can also get all this other stuff if you'd like as well. So I mean, one of the things I'm seeing is kind of a la carting, but really in terms of doing a proper campaign, I mean, I'm still learning, honestly. I mean, trying to make it as visual as possible. I mean, there's words that you have to put on there, but it's like at the end of the day, people want to see, people want to see what it is that they're going to be investing in. Dave and I, and this may be a good jumping off point for Dave and I. Dave and I were just talking about this backstage before we hopped in about the tchotchkes.
Yeah.
And what's really driving sales. I know my man Eric. I know there's certain tchotchkes he's not interested in at all. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not a tchotchke guy, So the question then becomes, and I've seen campaigns that have kind of broken the bank with tchotchkes, and they're using the tchotchkes to get people in. And honestly, I don't know. I think at least you did a survey, Dave. So at least you got some numbers, but I kind of believe your survey.
Yeah. I was telling you that I did this small survey on Twitter because I have no idea how many of my backers actually backed because of the free extras. Like I have this art book and this standee. I don't know. So I just asked people, and right now 10% said yes. That was the deciding factor for them to back this project. And then you can calculate, all right, 10% of 80,000. Is it worth it for the next one?
And I think
these are things to consider.
This is the kind of intelligence we're starting to gather. Because I think before it was just, hey, tchotchkes, and we're just doing it. But I think now people like yourself, and these are things that I've wondered about too, are starting to dig more. Because like even with Black Tiger, you know, I heard, hey, you know, someone asked me, and somebody was very credible, said, hey, what's your next stretch goal? You know, and I was like, I don't have another stretch goal. Do I need, you know, and then I'm starting to go through, okay, well, what can I offer that people care about that doesn't suddenly, that, you know, you can do certain things and then find that you're making your whole process less profitable. You know, you've got more things you got to produce. You got more things that you got to package and ship, you know,
right.
And, you know, all of a sudden I go from being able to ship something as a book at a book rate domestically to suddenly I got to package it differently. Yeah. So these are all things that we have to take into consideration. So, I mean, it's like, you know, to me, this is one of the reasons why I like coming on shows too, because, you know, I'm very interested to hear how other creators are doing it. Because I know that this is still kind of an evolving beast, but, you know, I want to be as efficient as I can.
Yeah, I wish I had the answers for you, but it's you know, it's still we need to figure some things out. But luckily we're in this network of people. We're all striving to find this solution to all these problems, and we do it together, you know.
That's right.
So
that's the other thing that's really great. It's not like crabs in a barrel, you know, and that was always kind of the feel, especially, you know, if you're trying to work through something like a diamond, you know, you felt like, well, somebody's getting this, they're not getting that. You know, yeah, everybody has a limited budget, but I feel everyone's growing the pie here because everybody's bringing, even if it's just a couple more people to the table that didn't back crowdfunding before. So yeah, people, and I understand, man, there's a lot more crowdfunded books. And I'm like, you're right. But there's, I think, a lot more people that are starting to back crowdfunded books as well. Because there's a whole universe, as much as the universe of comic book readers may be stagnating or shrinking, so many folks don't back comic books yet that are you know, through crowdfunding. So just being able to tap some of that could really expand the market.
Yeah, that's another thing. You have this crowdfunding market, which is awesome, but at some point you need to try, if possible, to get outside of that circle. So get this book in front of people that don't visit these crowdfunding platforms.
Yeah.
So stores, that will be the ultimate goal for me. Yeah. Actually,
I was looking at Bristolian Dave's comment about the VAT. I just learned about that the hard way because I guess the prior year, the person that was, and I could be wrong, you can correct me, Dave, the person that was receiving the book was paying the VAT, but now it seems like the seller is paying the VAT, which I think is like a value add tax that the UK charges. So that was like even another tax that I didn't even take into consideration.
Yeah.
You know, when we're sending the books to the UK followers. So you're just like, it's always kind of morphing and changing, and you're like, oh, I didn't take that into consideration.
Yeah, so the tchotchkes can no longer be very much different from the books. You know, you can put prints in, but anything else probably gets taxed.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Shall we take a look at your campaign?
Let's see.
First off, you're doing very well. 12,000, man. That's pretty good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just appreciate the people that have backed, the people that have, people are coming back, which I really appreciate. I don't take that for granted at all, and adding some new folks. You know, at the end of the day, all of us want to give people a reason to come back. So I'm glad to see people. I'm glad to see people are coming back, and the word is getting out there.
So coming back for this series, you mean?
Yeah. Or? So this is not the first of the Black Tiger series. The first of the Black Tiger series was a trade, which is a 172 pager called Legacy of Fury. So this was a compilation of work done over a long period of time, over 15 years, because from when Rod and I first started publishing through Diamond So what we did was we collected. We only ended up publishing 4 of the 6 issues through Diamond because just economically it made no sense. But we kept producing. So we have all 6 issues, plus we did, as a result of the campaign, an additional 20-something pages just to fill out parts of the story arc that I wanted to originally, but just financially I just wasn't able to get to. So you can get this in the pick me up. This is the first story arc. It's a full, complete story arc. So you'll get a full kind of understanding of what's going on in the world, understanding of the powers of the Black Tiger, and who the players are. And
Awesome.
Actually, Eric El Guapo just did a review. He just started doing a review. So if you check out his YouTube, you can see a review on this. So if you kind of want to learn a little bit more about it that way. So that was the first 172 pager. This one it says volume 1, but it's volume 1 of a new story arc called Hidden Dragon.
Okay.
And it picks up right after Legacy of Fury left off. And
okay, so Hidden Dragon will also be 6 issues.
So Hidden Dragon is basically 3 issues. So it is, I think it's 80 something pages. So you'll get combined, so let's say you weren't aware of Legacy of Fury and you picked up Legacy of Fury and the Catch Me Up and Hidden Dragon, you get like 260 pages of comic between the two. So
that's
and
amazing.
that's basically 9 issues of Black Tiger. So we've kept the story moving. Hidden Dragon picks up right after Legacy of Fury, and we have we think our first female wielder of the power, Jin Fong, who was an assistant district attorney by day, and she's now the Black Tiger by night. But she has, philosophically, she has been against vigilantism. So now she's wielding a power and she's taking up a mantle, but she's not fully on board with it. But she does so because her father was one of the prior Black Tigers and he was killed. And he was also a police officer, a captain. So he was killed and dishonored as a Black Tiger. And then posthumously as a police officer, he was posthumously dishonorably discharged. So there was an attack against him personally and as the Black Tiger, and those same forces are coming after her. So she needs to take up the mantle to, in the fashion of a good kung fu story. She's got to, bring honor back to the name of her family. She needs to, be able to save herself, but moreover, she needs to be able to save the city that she's in, which has fallen into complete disarray now that the long-standing Black Tiger is not there. So a lot of factions, kind of warring factions, are trying to make their move on the city. So she's in with the underdrop of trying to bring peace back to the city, both in her day job and as the Black Tiger. She's trying to find out who's coming after her and why. And she's also trying to determine, she wasn't trained as the Black Tiger. So she is learning the powers and she's learning what she can do on the fly, which actually enables her, we'll see in the long run, to kind of redefine what the Black Tiger is.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Shall we watch the video, maybe for people to get them excited?
Let's do that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Tiger. Tiger.
excellent.
Yeah, I wanted to showcase. There's a lot of kind of along with the red thread of the story. There's a lot of great mixed martial arts action. So kind of the things that I always loved, growing up was watching, Hong Kong movies and kind of being a guy who kind of enjoys some MMA today. You get to see these different factions and their own basically different styles. So you see her battling. That guy right there is a master of capoeira. So that's kind of kung fu versus capoeira. You get to see another faction right there. She's actually battling some ex-KGB bionic Russians called the Organizatia. So,
Bionic Russians.
Yeah,
Awesome.
gotta have it. So they're just, they're beasts. They're just, slugfest. Strong as oxes, and they have different kinds of powers as well. And she battles a master of karate, and then there's also so there's 3 covers. That's one of them. And
wow, this is amazing.
This is the it's actually a wraparound. So originally, this is the front part of the wraparound cover. It's drawn by the interior artist Rod Looper, so you're going to get really high quality art inside the book. And this cover was painted by an artist that goes by Artesita, and he just did an amazing job in just bringing, really bringing because we wanted a style for the cover that was a little bit different, that had a little bit more of, I guess, a little bit of a touch of Beasley to it. So a little bit of a different flair to it. So that's what we're able to bring to the fore with this cover option.
So Jay says, magic and kung fu and gang warfare is Black Tiger. Impressive equation.
Thank you. I'm loving that equation myself. That's one of the beauties of comics, is you get to bring, and that's why I say make comics for the sake of making comics. I mean, you don't have the budgetary constraints that other media do. So it's like, putting all those kind of elements into a show or a movie could put you way out of, budget. And I feel like too many comics are written trying to be translated into other media, so they become really stagnant and stale and a lot of talking heads. So here, we have a lot of fun with all these different elements. And all these elements, we establish it in Legacy of Fury very early that all these elements are here. They're present in this world. They're present in this city. And Black Tiger has got her hands full in kind of dealing with, dealing with what's going on. So here this is another cover option. Thick thighs do save lives, and
great slogan.
Yeah, and deliver jaw crushing kicks as well. So she's battling against Onryu, who is a character that you'll get to know well in the series, and she's definitely duplicitous. So she has some of her own kind of things going on. And then the other one is Svetlana, who is one of the Organizatia Bionic Russian members. So
awesome, man, looks great.
So yes, Dr. Hino, indeed. I've been fortunate enough to work with Rod for quite a while. So this is an interior page. She's actually in the jungles of Brazil, and this is where she's actually searching for answers regarding her father's death. And Rod, he is an amazing artist, and he's not cheap, nor should he be cheap, because his artwork is amazing. So what are you going to do at the end of the day? You don't muzzle the ox. It's like, anyone. And the thing is, especially now, it all comes down to, finding the right folks to collaborate with and being able to compensate them. And that's where you kind of figure out who you're going to be able to work with if you're a writer like myself who doesn't do the art. But yes, I'll tell you, everyone is. This is a business, so people are open. So like, if you get the Legacy of Fury book, which is part of the Catch Me Up interior, you'll get 6 covers from Greg Horn, because when I started working on Legacy of Fury, I worked with Greg Horn.
Seriously, in this book.
So this one, the next one, or the Legacy of Fury, which is one that preceded this, the 172 pager.
Yeah.
You'll also get all 6 of the covers that Greg Horn did for that series.
Wow.
So you'll get them on the inside. Here, I can I can show some of those. So it's like Greg Horn did 6 covers. So I provide kind of the covers that, you know, I don't want anyone to pick up, you know, a book and feel like they didn't get everything, or feel, you know, exactly. So, you know, all the art is there. And, you know, sometimes you just have to be nutty enough to ask, you know, and I mean, I've even reached out to Alex Ross just to find out what his page rate was. And, you know, man, if I could afford that, I mean, like, then you know I'm doing something. Because, like, I mean, his page rate, woo, oh my god!
I can imagine.
I asked him for like how much a cover was, and I mean, like, you know, I don't want to put this guy's stuff out in the street, but like, wow, I was like, okay, yeah, thank you for
Next time.
Indulging me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bristolian Dave has a question. How would you go about enlisting the services of an artist to draw your story if you cannot afford a page rate right away? Maybe profit sharing.
So yeah, profit sharing is definitely, I think, a good way to go about it. And structuring, you know, part of it is structuring a deal, because maybe you can pay a portion, you know, so you can pay something that you can't afford, and then have a profit sharing piece on the back end, so that they do get paid something, even if it's not. And even like with Rod, you know, even with different people that I work with, sometimes like they'll know that, like, okay, I'm not getting my full page rate. I acknowledge that, you know, it's like, this is what I can afford, but this is what else we can potentially do, you know, and whether it's a profit share, you know, kind of things of that nature. Artists, if they love a project and they have the time, and it's not, because at the end of the day they got to eat, and one of the things working with artists is realizing that, like, if they're working on a page, they're not working on something else, which sounds stupid, but it's like, if you have a commitment to pay them, you got to pay them, and you got to pay them in a timely fashion, you know, because if they're doing your page and they're not doing something else, you know, man, you want 22 pages, you want them cranked out quickly.
Yeah, of course.
That may be their whole month.
That's right.
That's what they're getting paid that month.
Okay, so you never offer to pay them with exposure.
No, I do not offer. I think that's, you know, that is the whole point is, like, you know, if we have to make a deal with our artists, we already don't have enough exposure to make exposure
right.
First and foremost. And second of all, nobody should work for quote unquote exposure, because they will end up being bitter at the end.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Who is your colorist? Look at these colors. This is great stuff.
So Vinicius Townsend is my colorist, and I think you can find him at Vinny Townsend on Twitter, and you can find him pretty much on all the social media. Really good guy, an amazing colorist. And to me, you know, I look at the color as, you know, if you're doing like a TV show or movie, the color is kind of like the music, right? I mean, the color is the stuff that sets the mood. You know, you can look at the color of something and it can help set the mood, you know, so it's like, you have all these different elements and all these different layers, and Vinicius is a dude that gets it. You know, I provide my scripts to everybody, and you know, he reads the script, he understands what's going on, he understands the moment, and he provides colors that really reflect the moment, and that's what you want, you know. And he did that. You know, Magna, and we're coming out with a new campaign. I'm going to be opening up a list for it. Maybe I'll open it up right here, right now on your show. But it's a list for Magna, which is the second volume of and the completion of that story arc. And we're doing 2 books in this campaign, Magna and a story called The Posse, which is all brand new. And part of that is using the right artist. So Vinicius does some work for me on Magna on that, and he just does an amazing job. And he does great work here.
Excellent. Yeah. If you write, if you write this scene, for instance, do you explain to your artist
Mhm.
what needs to happen with every panel, or is it just we have
I
this fight
do.
scene and make me something?
I do. I'm so first of all, I'm very much into the choreography of fights. So
Hmm.
I every panel I fully script out. Now, don't get me wrong. The book doesn't come out looking exactly like that. I do it because A, it helps me with the flow, but B, it also gives the artist the idea of what it is I'm trying to do. And I feel like it's much easier for an artist to say like, okay, I see what John is trying to do, and kind of like a cinematographer say, here's a better way to shoot it. You
Right.
know, as opposed to just saying like, hey man, there's a fight, it's on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's certain kind of things that I want to hit, you know, no pun intended, in a fight. There's certain things that I want to portray, and I want him to be aware. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time,
Exactly.
what ends up
Yeah.
happening is he'll say like, "Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Here's a better way to do it."
Right. Right.
You
Well,
know.
some artists like the freedom, I suppose, but many do appreciate the guidance.
Well, and that's what
So
I think. I treat it as guidance.
yeah.
And Rod, the longer that Rod and I have worked together, the more liberty he's taken. So he'll be like, "I see what you're trying to do. I got this. You know, let me go in a different direction with what you're with kind of as opposed to the way that
Hmm.
you shot this scene. I think I can do it in a way that's much more compelling, much more fun, you know, much
Right.
grander." And that's cool to
Right.
me. I'm good with that. I want somebody that wants to step in and say like, yeah, that looks cool, but I can do better.
That happens often, that you get this layout and that you think it's nice, but we need to do something else here.
Pretty often, and but I like
Okay.
it. I mean, it's like because I fully script everything. Like this is a scene where the five fingers of death, who are these five deadly assassins that work for kind of this agent that's going after Black Tiger, they drop in literally on the organizatio, and they basically
Hmm.
kind of press the organizatio into doing some of their work. And like I had ideas for this scene, but
Hmm.
um, you know, I actually had this from a different angle. I was kind of more from the ground up, you know, from like you're close to the organization looking up. But Rod, you know, he brings kind of his artistic expertise to the table, and I want that. I want him to feel empowered to say like, I'd rather do
Sure.
it this way. You know,
Yeah.
I think it would look better this way, and then he'll give me a thumbnail, and sometimes we'll go back and forth just kind of on how it's kind of laid out, and then kind of go from there. You know, this scene is kind of a Jackie Chan homage. So she's in her civvies, but she's defending the one guy in the chair from the assassin. So she's like a stapler to block the knife. The guy's in the
Yeah.
rolling chair, so she's moving the chair. So she's like rolling the guy. So it's just like, you know, having fun, but also you know, really trying to do a job in fight choreography. So when people look at the fights, they're like, you know what? They really invested time in this. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. And that at the end of the day, if you know people come away and say like, you know what, the story was well written, the art was well done, and the guy didn't phone in on any page. You know, I
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to phone it in on any page.
Look at this, man. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. This is an example also of Rod and I working together. Because when I originally scripted this, I think I scripted this as maybe 5 panels because there's a lot of things happening that I wanted to show. I said I wanted to show the dragon is manifesting up from the ground. I want to show, you know, kind of the destruction and then the magnitude of the dragon. He did it all in one splash image. I mean, you
Yeah.
could tell the dragon manifested from the ground because there are people and tables and all kinds of stuff on the dragon from how he came up from the ground. And he used kind of this crazy kind of fisheye kind of a lens, so you can see the bottom floor, you can see all the way up to the third floor of the mall, and you can see the mayhem and the destruction. I mean, man, I love this image. This is
Yeah.
actually
This is fantastic.
one of the, like I told you, I'm not a big tchotchke guy, but Phoenix Animation mocked this up for me, and I said, man, I've got to have it. It's a metal bookmark, so this is one of the things that people can get,
Oh, cool.
and
Metal.
I'm totally using this thing. I mean, it's a metal bookmark of that image, and
Awesome.
it's sturdy. So it won't get jacked up unless like you really try to bend it up, then you can.
That's a stretch goal.
So this is something. So everyone that gets a physical book is going to automatically get one of these because we already hit that stretch goal.
Okay, cool, man.
But you can also, if you want to get extra ones, you can also get kind of add on a la carte and get another one if you want as well.
Okay.
And this is the
So
third
this
cover.
is a different style, some 3D or
No, this is still, so the background is kind of 3D-ish, but the characters are painted. So
Okay.
Valerio Giangiordano, he did an amazing job with this. My heroine is on the wrong end of the cake here, but I just love kind of the style that he brought to the table.
Mhm.
I just wanted with the covers, I wanted it to have a different feel than just the interiors. And the interiors are already really dynamic. So it's hard to kind of go up another level. So finding the right folks that can really do a great job with the painting, that's been a fun challenge.
Great.
And this is the first series. So if you get the Catch Me Up, you'll get Legacy of Fury, which is the first series, which is a 172 pager, and then you'll get the Hidden Dragon book as well. So here you get to kind of see the first story arc, or elements from the first story arc.
Yeah, great art.
And this is Greg Horn covers.
Yeah.
And interiors by Rod. So just a great combination, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
There's lots to see here, so people should really check out this page and browse through all the art. There's a lot here.
Yeah, a lot of good elements, a lot of good story elements.
Yeah.
And you kind of see, I mean, this first story arc has a lot of it's very much a generational book. And you see kind of here, father and son. The son was aware of the power in his family. And you can kind of see as a kid, his father's demonstrating some things to him. And then years later, here he is. He now has the power, and he's at the same spot where his father originally showed him. And there's things he can do, but then you see there's things that he cannot do that his father did. And there's a reason behind that. And that kind of gets unfolded in the story.
Great stuff.
And this is a big fight between Jin and Atomi, who you can see kind of the power of the dragon manifesting on her back. So this is a pretty brutal fight between the two of them.
So this is why she has this convenient open back here, so you can see the dragon.
Yep. It's very convenient, but it's very poignant. And plus, she's got a nice back, so she can do that.
Yeah, man. Showed it off. Okay.
And this is kind of like a prophetic dream that Jin is having, and you'll get to see throughout the series, how elements are, how they play themselves out. Appreciate that, Marinus. Appreciate that, brother. And then this is some brother versus sister for the mantle of Black Tiger.
Right. So they have special outfits for the occasion, or?
Yeah, so they each have their own Black Tiger gear. They kind of got their own look. And, you'll see her throughout the series. She's got a whole bunch of different looks. That's one thing, like, that always made sense to me. Like, when I would read the Avengers and, like, the Wasp would have different looks. I'm like, even my wife was like, she's like, I wouldn't roll around in the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, so that's one of her looks, but you'll see
the feet. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll see throughout the series, she's got a number of different cool costume looks. And this is one of my favorite. I mean, I love all of the Greg Horn covers, but this one really, I love it so much because when I first got in contact with him and I was pitching him the idea, I showed him the script and I was like, oh man, I'm probably giving this guy too much. He's too busy. He doesn't want to read this. But he did. And he told me, usually when I'm doing covers, there's splash pages because I don't know what's going on inside. So, this was a cover he completely conceptualized himself based on it was basically a reveal issue, an issue where Jin learns of the Black Tiger and her family. And he conceived this, created this, made this, And it just goes to show, when people care and they're gonna do a great job, what you get is always greater than just the parts. I always call this is like Voltron, man. Everybody kind of comes together and forms Voltron. And This thing, I love this image so much. Not just because of how awesome the image is, but just because of
the story behind it.
What he did,
exactly,
to create this. This was all him.
Welcome to the show, Keely Chow.
Keely Chow.
Okay, you have some merch here.
Yeah, so we got some merch. Got 3 different shirts: a tiger shirt, a dragon shirt, and a tiger versus dragon shirt. The good thing is there's a lot of resources in the community. So Red Valkyrie, she was the one that really, she fully spearheaded this. She's the one that, took the images, got the shirts together, which was great because that really wasn't, the merch kind of scares me a little bit. And I'm like, I don't want to be the one to design a shirt because it may not be the shirt that anybody wants. So, I guess the lesson there is there's a lot of great people in the community, lean on them, everybody's really cool.
This might be something for me to check out for the next book. Not sure.
Yeah. And then that's so if you scroll back up a little bit, that was the wraparound. So the rod cover when we hit the $5,000 mark, it went from just the image on the left to a wraparound. So this is the image is kind of backwards because the image on the left is the front cover. The image on the right is the back cover.
All right.
So, yeah.
Okay. This is And
then there's some original pages.
Okay. People can buy those. Yeah.
Yep. Those are the original pages that are still available.
Awesome. Okay, guys, you should check out this page. There's so much to see here. So let's go to the perks quickly, so we can see what you offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the featured tier.
So the Catch Me Up, which is what gets you, just like it says, all caught up. You'll get the Legacy of Fury graphic novel plus this Hidden Dragon graphic novel. So basically, you'll get everything. You'll get the equivalent of all 9 issues of Black Tiger.
That's a good price, man, for 9 books.
Yeah. So
fantastic.
So get the Catch Me Up if you don't know about Black Tiger. The digital is so we have a digital web reader on our site at beyondtimecomics.com. So the reader has full page mode, has panel mode. If you get the digital web reader perk, you'll get all 6 of the issues in kind of single issue form or all three of the issues in single issue form for Hidden Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read them digitally on our website.
Wow.
And, we'll kind of give you access. And then the next 3 are the 3 different cover options. So there's the Eduardo Vieira
cover. That's this one here.
Mm-hmm. And the Gian Giordano cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rod Looper Artesita cover, which is now a wraparound cover.
A wraparound, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, those were the prints, but the covers are the same. So
these are the prints,
yeah,
right?
Sorry. So those are the prints, but then the covers follow the same methodology.
So this means when you order this, you only get the print?
That's just the print. So that's just the print, but then if you scroll down is the book. There you go. So that's the paperback. Right. That's the book.
So basically you have to back twice if you want to.
No, you can go in and you can just add it.
All right, of course.
You can pick a perk and you can just, a la carte add on. Yes. That's where actually a lot of them are. Most people didn't just pick the print. People that got prints, they got a book and then they added a print.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because usually the book is the primary thing you're trying to grab.
Mm-hmm. This is the cover. These are the 3 covers for $25 each.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
And this is the digital Catch Me Up for all 9 issues. So if you want to get Legacy of Fury and Hidden Dragon, this is the digital Catch Me Up for that.
Yeah. And you can read those on your website, right?
That's right. That's right. And
the
then
shirts are $40.
Mm-hmm. And most people that have gotten shirts, they've done it as an add-on. You know, they'll get a
All
book
right.
and then they'll go
Yeah.
and they'll add on a shirt.
Mm-hmm. It makes more sense to put the main event here, so the books, right, and
Yeah.
then the extra stuff like shirts and prints as add-ons.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, yeah. Triple prints, you get all 3 books.
So you get
all
all
three prints.
So
Yeah, yeah.
That's all 3 prints, and then the one below is all 3 books.
Mhm.
Yep, that one's all 3 books. And then these were some of the, like I told you, how I put together some bundles. People a la carte it, man. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I just, you know, I'd rather just a la carte and pick the stuff
Right.
that I want. You know, between the books and the digital and the bookmarks, you know. So
Mhm. Yeah.
still learning for me as well.
Full tiger mode.
Yeah, so that's basically everything Hidden Dragon and Legacy of Fury plus bookmark. So you get the physical and the digitals and prints as well. So
Right.
yeah. And this is, I thought I had closed that one, but I'll probably close that. I need to close that one. So this is a commission from Rod. So Rod, he's basically doing a full body pencil and ink commission of any character of your choosing. So you get the commission, plus you get a copy of the graphic novel, your choice of cover. So 8x10 art commission and your choice of graphic novel, hardcover, and then we'll also give you digital access as well.
Right. So why do you want to close this one?
Because just from a standpoint of making sure that everything is done around the same time, you know, so it's like what ended up happening with Magna was we had commissions, but the commissions ended up coming in later than the books.
Yes.
The people that actually got the commissions got their book later than people that got the book and the commission. And I felt kind of bad because I'm like, you know, they actually spent more money and they're getting their book last.
I have the same thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
With my.
So, and then these are the different pages that were available that we saw at the bottom.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick it in. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
200 each. It's a lot there. And then the Ultimate Tiger.
That's basically everything plus a commission. So you get all the books, all the prints,
Right.
the bookmark, digital access, plus you also get a commission.
Okay, cool. Excellent. And this one's gone. All right. Yeah. Cool, man. Fantastic. No, well, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Let me refresh for a second. Maybe you got no Brink bump today. Sorry, man.
That's all right, man. That's all right. Sometimes those things take a while, and sometimes it's just good for people just to know what's going on. And sometimes it's good for us to hang out and talk.
Okay, cool, man. So if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me at Beyond Time Inc. on Twitter and Instagram and on YouTube. And I do have the Facebook page at beyondtimecomics.com.
Wow.
Yes.
Right. Cool. Okay. Everyone, I've put the link to this campaign in the description of this video. I've also put John's Twitter address in the description. So follow this guy. I want to thank the chat for joining us, for the questions, for the engagement. Thank you very much. And I want to thank my guest, John. It was great having you, Dave.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, man. So we're going to close it now. Thanks again, and I'm not sure when I'll be back with a drink with Brink. I'm taking a little break, but I will be back with a new guest sometime. So take care. See you later. Thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, and you know the drill. And see you next time. Bye-bye.